Adam returned home from work, waiting for his wife Ava from her next fitness retreat. But this time he had an envelope in his hands with evidence that turned his life around. When Ava entered smiling, she saw her, woman she destroyed 20 years ago, and she held the truth that could destroy everything. What happened next revealed a network of lies, betrayals, and dangerous plans. Adam Ramirez locked the front door of his Miami bungalow, the keys jangling in his hand as he headed to his truck. The humid morning air clung to his skin, but his mind was elsewhere, on Ava, his wife of 18 years, who'd left at dawn for another Zumba retreat in Orlando. At 47, Adam was a steady man, an electrical engineer who kept Miami's power grid humming for 2 decades. He prided himself on reliability, both at work and at home, supporting Ava's passion for fitness. Her Zumba obsession had started 2 years ago, filling their evenings with her excited chatter about dance moves and new friends. Adam had cheered her on, happy to see her thrive. But lately, something felt off. He climbed into his truck, his fingers tapping the steering wheel. Ava's retreats had become more frequent. Weekend trips to Tampa, Key West, even Jacksonville. She'd return glowing, buzzing with stories of outdoor sessions and sisterhood. Yet, Adam's engineer brain, wired to spot anomalies, kept catching inconsistencies. Last month, she claimed it poured rain during a session in Tampa, but her sneakers came back spotless. Her phone, once an open book, now demanded a passcode. A Marriott key card slipped from her gym bag last week, though she'd sworn the retreat was at a rustic lodge. Adam pulled into the parking lot of his utility company, his jaw tight. He'd always trusted Ava. She was 42, vibrant, the kind of woman who lit up rooms with her laugh. They'd built a life together. Nice house, good savings, a daughter, Isabella, now 22 and studying at the University of Miami. But the patterns didn't add up. At his desk, he opened a small notebook he'd started 3 months ago, a habit from his control room days. October 10th, Ava left for Jacksonville retreat, returned with no photos, claimed phone died. November 3rd, Key West trip, said they danced on the beach, but no sand in her bag. Today's entry, December 5th, Orlando retreat, left at 5 a.m., packed light, no dance shoes. He closed the notebook, his gut twisting. Adam wasn't a suspicious man by nature, but he'd spent years analyzing systems, spotting when the load didn't match the output. Ava's stories were a circuit with too many loose wires. By noon, he made a call to Luis Gonzalez, a retired cop turned private investigator. "I need answers, Luis," Adam said, his voice low. Discreetly, "whatever it costs." Luis, gruff but professional, agreed to dig. "Give me a week," he said. "You'll know the truth." That evening, Adam sat alone in their kitchen, sipping black coffee. The house was quiet, without Ava's usual post-class energy. He opened his laptop and stared at an email from her, sent that morning. "Having a blast in Orlando. Zumba sisters are killing it. Back Sunday night. Love you." The words felt hollow. He cross-checked the email against his notebook. Orlando. No mention of a hotel, but that key card nagged at him. On impulse, he searched the Marriott website, finding a luxury resort in Orlando matching the keycard's design. His fingers hovered over the keyboard, tempted to call the hotel, but he stopped. Luis would handle it. The next day, Adam's phone buzzed during a site inspection. A text from Luis. "Got something. Meet me tonight, 7 p.m. My office." Adam's heart sank, but he wasn't surprised. At 7 sharp, he sat across from Luis in a cramped downtown office, the desk littered with photos. Luis slid a manila envelope toward him. "You sure you want this?" he asked. Adam nodded, his throat tight. The photos spilled out. Ava, laughing in a hotel parking lot, her arms around a man, mid-30s, slick suit, dark hair. Another showed them entering a room at the Orlando Marriott, her hand in his. The man was Javier Torres, a real estate agent. Luis's report detailed their routine. Hotels across Florida, always under the guise of Ava's retreats, at least 12 trips in 14 months. Adam's hands shook as he stuffed the photos back into the envelope. "There's more," Luis said, handing him bank statements. "She's been funneling money into a separate account. Rental income from property in Key West she never told you about." Adam's mind raced. Ava had mentioned an inheritance from her aunt 2 years ago, claiming it was a rundown shack she sold off. Apparently, she'd lied. The property was a beachfront condo, pulling in $3,000 a month. She's funding these trips, Luis added, and gifts for Torres. Jewelry, clothes, even a car lease. The drive home was a blur. Adam's anger simmered, but another memory gnawed at him. Sofia Martinez, his first love, 20 years ago. They'd been inseparable, both young engineers at the utility company, until an anonymous letter arrived, typed on company letterhead, accusing Sofia of cheating. Devastated, Adam had pulled away, and Ava had been there, comforting, available. 2 months later, they were dating. Now, staring at the photos of Ava with Javier, Adam saw the pattern. The letter hadn't been random. He dialed Sofia's number, his hands unsteady. She answered on the second ring, her voice warm but cautious. Adam, it's been forever. Now a successful attorney in Tampa. Sofia listened as Adam recounted the letter that ended them. I never cheated, she said, her tone sharp. That letter came out of nowhere. Then my car tires were slashed 3 days in a row, and I got strange calls, someone claiming to be HR, asking about us. Adam's blood ran cold. Sofia, I think Ava sent that letter. Can you come to Miami tomorrow? I need your help to confront her. Sofia paused, then agreed. I'll be there by 8 a.m. Text me the address. Adam hung up, his resolve hardening. He set out 2 coffee mugs for the morning, knowing Ava would walk through the door, expecting her usual warm welcome. Instead, she'd face the truth, and the woman she'd betrayed 2 decades ago. As he lay in bed, the photos and bank statements burned into his mind. Adam felt a spark of something new. Not just anger, but purpose. Tomorrow, the lies would end. Adam Ramirez woke at 6 a.m., the Miami sunrise barely cutting through the blinds. His heart pounded as he checked his phone. No messages from Ava, just a confirmation from Sofia Martinez, landing at 7:30. See you soon. He brewed coffee, the machines hummed, steadying his nerves. Last night's revelations, photos of Ava with Javier Torres, hidden bank accounts, a condo in Key West, had shattered his trust. Now, with Sofia's help, he'd confront the woman who'd orchestrated his life's biggest losses. He set out a 3rd mug, anticipating Ava's return from her Zumba retreat by 9 a.m. At 8:05, Sofia knocked softly on the back door. Adam let her in, their eyes meeting briefly. Hers sharp, focused, a lawyer's gaze honed by years in court. She carried a slim folder, her own evidence of the past. I pulled some old records, she said, placing the folder on the kitchen counter. That anonymous letter you got? It was typed on a machine from our company's admin pool. Guess who had access? Adam's jaw tightened. Ava worked in that office. Sofia nodded. And those creepy calls I got? The number traced to a payphone near her old apartment. Adam handed her the private investigator's report, pointing to a photo of Ava and Javier in a Tampa hotel lobby. This is what she's been doing for 14 months, he said. Sofia scanned the images, her expression unreadable but tense. There's more, Adam added, sliding over bank statements. She's been siphoning rental income from a property she claimed she sold. Over $40,000 in a secret account. Sofia's eyes narrowed. She's not just cheating, she's building a whole separate life. Their conversation was cut short by the sound of gravel crunching in the driveway. Adam glanced out the window, Ava's SUV. She's early, he muttered, motioning Sofia to the living room. Stick to the plan. Let her see you first. Sofia settled into an armchair, the investigator's folder open on her lap. Adam positioned himself by the kitchen doorway, his pulse racing but his resolve ironclad. He'd spent years ensuring Miami's lights stayed on. Today, he'd exposed the darkness in his own home. Ava burst through the front door at 8:45, her gym bag slung over her shoulder, her voice bright. Adam, I'm back. Orlando was wild. New routines, amazing energy. She kicked off her shoes, oblivious to the silence greeting her. As she stepped toward the kitchen, a faint rustle from the living room stopped her cold. She tilted her head, listening. Adam, you got company? No answer. Her confidence wavered as she rounded the corner and froze. Sofia looked up from the folder, her voice calm but cutting. Hello, Ava. Long time. Ava's bag hit the floor with a thud. Her eyes darted from Sofia to Adam, who stepped into view, arms crossed. What's she doing here? Ava demanded, her tone sharp but unsteady. Adam held up the manila envelope from Luis. Sit down, Ava. We need to talk. She hesitated, then perched on the couch, her hands fidgeting. This is ridiculous. I just got home from a retreat. What's with the ambush? Adam tossed the envelope onto the coffee table. Photos spilled out, her with Javier, laughing, kissing, entering hotel rooms. Ava's face paled, but she recovered quickly, forcing a laugh. This is nothing. A misunderstanding. That's just a friend from Zumba. Sophia leaned forward. A friend you meet in hotels across Florida? With money from a Key West condo you hid from your husband? Ava's eyes widened, but she doubled down. That property's mine. My aunt left it to me. Adam has no claim. Wrong, Adam said, pulling out the bank statements. You used our joint savings to buy it during our marriage. That makes it marital property. And this, he tapped another document, shows you've been funneling $3,000 a month into a secret account. Care to explain? Ava's bravado cracked. She opened her mouth, but no words came. Sophia pressed the advantage. Let's talk about 20 years ago. That letter accusing me of cheating. Typed on company equipment you had access to. The slashed tires. The fake HR calls. Sound familiar? Ava's hands clenched. You're digging up ancient history. I don't know anything about that. Adam's voice stayed level, but his eyes burned. You wanted Sophia out of the picture so you could have me. And now you're doing it again with Javier Torres. Ava stood, her voice rising. You're paranoid, both of you. I'm not some villain. I just needed a break, some fun. You can't prove anything. The front door creaked open, and Isabella, their daughter, stormed in, her face flushed with anger. Stop lying, Mom, she shouted. Adam and Sophia turned, startled. Ava's expression collapsed. Isabella, what are you doing here? Isabella's eyes blazed. Dad texted me last night about your retreats. I've known about Javier for a year. I saw you with him at a cafe in Coral Gables. You begged me to stay quiet, said it was a one-time thing. But you never stopped. Adam felt the air leave his lungs. A year, he asked, his voice low. Isabella nodded, tears brimming. I wanted to protect you, Dad. I thought she'd come clean, but it's been lie after lie. Ava reached for her daughter. Bella, please. Isabella stepped back. Don't. You've been cheating on Dad, hiding money, living a double life. How could you? Adam pulled out his phone, his hands steady despite the chaos. There's one more thing, Ava. He played a voicemail, Javier's voice crackling through the speaker. Adam, I'm sorry, man. Ava told me you were abusive, that she was leaving you. She offered me cash to make things easier. I didn't sign up for that. Ava's face went ashen. He's lying, she whispered. Sophia stood, her voice cold. You're running out of excuses, Ava, and we're just getting started. Adam Ramirez stood in his Miami living room, the air thick with tension as Ava's defenses crumbled. The photos, bank statements, and Javier's voicemail had stripped away her lies, leaving her cornered. Isabella's accusation, that she'd known about her mother's affair for a year, hung heavy, her tear-streaked face a mirror of Adam's own betrayal. Sophia Martinez, seated calmly, held the folder of evidence like a weapon. Ava's eyes darted between them, searching for an escape. This is a setup, she hissed, standing abruptly. You're twisting everything. Adam stepped forward, his voice steady but laced with fury. No more games, Ava. Explain the $1.5 million life insurance policy you took out on me 6 months ago. He slid a document across the coffee table, the insurance company's letterhead glaring. You listed me as having heart issues and diabetes, conditions I don't have. Why? Ava's hands trembled as she picked up the paper, her lips parting but no sound escaping. Sophia leaned in. Planning for an accident, Ava? That's what Javier implied. Ava's voice cracked. That's not true. I was just protecting our future. Isabella scoffed, stepping closer. Protecting your future, you mean? I found emails on your laptop, Mom. You asked a lawyer about contesting Dad's, well, if something happened to him. Adam's stomach churned. He'd suspected deception, but this was colder, calculated. You rewrote my medical records, he said, pulling out another file from Luis Gonzalez's investigation. You gave yourself power of attorney for any medical emergencies. Convenient, right? Ava's shoulders slumped, but she rallied, her tone sharp. You're blowing this out of proportion. I made some bad choices, okay? But I'm not a criminal. Sophia opened her folder, revealing a typed letter from 20 years ago. Bad choices? Like this. You sent this to Adam, claiming I was cheating. You sabotaged us, Ava, and now you're planning worse. Ava's eyes widened, but she shook her head. That's not proof. Anyone could have written that. The doorbell rang, sharp and jarring. Adam glanced out the window, a police cruiser in the driveway. Ava's face drained of color. Who's that? She demanded. Adam opened the door, and Officer Ricardo Morales, Ava's brother, strode in, his badge gleaming, his posture radiating authority. Adam, what's this nonsense? Ava called me, said you're harassing her. His hand rested on his holster, a subtle threat. Isabella stepped between them. Uncle Ricardo, back off. Dad's not the problem here. Ricardo ignored her, glaring at Adam. You're throwing away your marriage over some old girlfriend? He gestured at Sophia, his tone dripping with disdain. Adam didn't flinch. I'm exposing a liar. Your sister's been cheating for over a year, hiding assets, and plotting to cash in on my death. He pointed to the documents on the table. Ricardo's eyes flicked to the photos, then back to Adam. That's a serious accusation. Got proof? Adam pulled a digital recorder from his pocket and pressed play. A voice, Captain Alvarez from Ricardo's precinct, filled the room. Morales has been under investigation for months, using police resources for personal favors, shaking down local businesses. We're building a case. Ricardo's face hardened, his hand twitching away from his weapon. Where'd you get that? He growled. Adam met his gaze. I've worked in systems too long to walk into a fight unprepared. I called your boss yesterday, Ricardo. He's very interested in your side gigs. Sophia stood, her voice cutting through the tension. Ricardo, your sister forged documents, hid income, and planned to harm Adam. You want to protect her? That's a bad bet. Ricardo's jaw clenched, but he turned to Ava. Is this true? Ava's voice rose, desperate. They're framing me. Javier's lying, and Adam's obsessed with Sophia. Isabella shook her head. Stop it, Mom. I heard you on the phone with Javier last month, talking about options if Dad got in the way. Adam handed Ricardo a USB drive. This is everything. Photos, bank records, Javier's voicemail. The FBI's already looking into the insurance fraud. You decide whose side you're on. Ricardo stared at the drive, then at Ava, who was now shaking. You told me it was just an affair, he muttered. Ava grabbed his arm. Ricardo, you have to help me. They're ruining my life. He pulled away, his voice low. You did that yourself. Adam crossed his arms. Ava, you've got 20 minutes to pack what you can carry. After that, the locks change. Ava's eyes blazed with panic, but she saw no allies in the room. She turned and bolted upstairs, her footsteps heavy. Ricardo lingered, his expression conflicted. This isn't over, Adam, he said, but his tone lacked conviction. He walked out, the cruiser's engine roaring as he left. Isabella sank onto the couch, tears falling. I'm sorry, Dad. I should have told you sooner. Adam Kenneth Besideher. You told me now. That's what matters. Sophia placed a hand on his shoulder. What's next? She asked. Adam stood, his eyes on the stairs where Ava was packing. We end this. Legally. Completely. He pulled out his phone and texted his lawyer, setting the wheels in motion for divorce and asset freezes. The truth was out, but the fight was far from over. Adam Ramirez stood in his Miami kitchen, the echo of Ava's furious footsteps fading upstairs. The confrontation had left the air charged, with Isabella wiping tears and Sophia sorting through the damning evidence on the coffee table. Ava had 15 minutes left to pack before the locks changed. Adam's phone buzzed. A text from his lawyer, Carla Vega, filed the restraining order on Ava's assets. Divorce papers ready. Meet tomorrow, 10 a.m. He exhaled, the weight of 18 years of marriage dissolving into cold resolve. Sophia glanced up from the documents. She's not going to go quietly, Adam. That insurance policy smells like more than just greed. Adam nodded, his mind racing. The $1, $5 million policy, with its falsified medical records, hinted at a darker plan. He opened his laptop and logged into their joint cloud storage, something Ava had always managed. Buried in a folder labeled Taxes, he found a draft email never sent, addressed to Javier Torres. If it looks like an accident, the payout doubles. Stairs or a gas leak? Clean, no questions. Adam's blood ran cold. He forwarded it to Luis Gonzalez, his investigator, with a note. Urgent. Sent to FBI. Isabella approached, her voice shaky. Dad, what's that? Adam showed her the email. Her eyes widened, and she clutched his arm. She was going to hurt you? Before he could answer, Ava descended the stairs, dragging 2 suitcases. Her posture was defiant, but her hands trembled as she gripped the handles. "You're making a mistake, Adam," she said, stopping at the door. "I'll fight this. You'll regret it." Adam stepped forward, his voice like steel. "The only mistake was trusting you. Get out." Ava's eyes flicked to Sophia, then Isabella. "You're turning our daughter against me." Isabella shook her head. "You did that when you lied to us both." Ava opened her mouth to retort, but the sound of a car pulling into the driveway cut her off. Through the window, Adam saw a black sedan, not Ricardo's cruiser. A man in a suit stepped out, badge glinting. "FBI," Sophia whispered, recognizing the insignia. The agent, introducing himself as Agent Carter, knocked firmly. Adam opened the door, and Carter's gaze locked on Ava. "Alva Ramirez? We need to talk about a life insurance policy and some communications with Javier Torres." Ava's face crumpled, but she tried to bluff. "I don't know what you're talking about." Carter held up a tablet, displaying the email Adam had just found. "This was forwarded to us by your husband's investigator. We also have Torres' testimony. He's cooperating." Ava's suitcases slipped from her hands, hitting the floor. "Javier's lying," she stammered. Carter's expression didn't waver. "You can explain that at the field office. Let's go." He gestured to the door, and Ava, defeated, followed, casting one last venomous look at Adam. As the sedan pulled away, Isabella sank onto the couch, her hands covering her face. "I can't believe she went that far." Sophia sat beside her, offering a quiet presence. Adam knelt in front of his daughter. "We're going to be okay, Bella. The truth's out now." He stood, turning to Sophia. "Thank you for being here. I couldn't have faced this without you." Sophia's lips curved slightly. "We're not done yet. She'll try to spin this in court." The next morning, Adam met Carla Vega at her downtown office. She spread out the divorce papers, her tone brisk. "Ava's assets, the Key West condo, the secret account, are frozen pending the divorce. The rental income is marital property, so you're entitled to half, minimum." Adam scanned the documents, his mind still on the FBI's visit. "What about the insurance fraud?" Carla leaned back. "That's a federal matter now." Torres gave them recordings of Ava discussing a staged accident. "She's looking at serious charges." By afternoon, Adam was back home, sorting through more of Ava's digital trail with Luis's help. The investigator had hacked into a secondary email account Ava used, uncovering a lease agreement for a car, a BMW convertible, co-signed with Javier. She used the condo's rental income for this, Luis said, pointing to a $45,000 payment. Adam's anger flared anew, but he channeled it into action, emailing Carla to add the car to the asset freeze. Luis's phone pinged with a new message. "FBI just pulled Javier in for questioning again," he said. "He's spilling everything to avoid jail." That evening, Isabella joined Adam and Sophia for dinner at a quiet cafe near the beach. The ocean's rhythm calmed the tension still lingering from the morning. Isabella pushed her plate aside. "Dad, I need to tell you something else. Mom tried to call me today from a holding cell. She begged me to talk to you, to convince you to drop the divorce." Adam's fork paused midair. "What did you say?" Isabella straightened. "I told her she made her choices. I'm done protecting her." Sophia reached across the table, squeezing Isabella's hand. "You did the right thing." Adam nodded, his chest tight with pride and pain. "We're moving forward, Bella. Together." Back home, he and Sophia sat on the porch, the night air warm. "I lost 20 years because of her lies," Adam said, his voice low. Sophia met his gaze. "We can't change the past, but we can build something new." Adam felt a flicker of hope, the first in months. The battle wasn't over, but the tide had turned. Adam Ramirez stood on the deck of a Key West beachfront condo, the Gulf of Mexico shimmering under the setting sun. It was a year since the confrontation that shattered his marriage, and the property, once Ava's secret asset, was now his, awarded in the divorce. Sofia Martinez stood beside him, her hand resting lightly on his arm. Their engagement ring glinted as she adjusted it, a quiet symbol of their rekindled bond. Isabella, now 23, approached with her newborn son, Adam Jr., cradled in her arms. The baby's coo broke the evening's calm, pulling Adam's focus from the past to the present. The divorce had finalized 3 months after Ava's arrest. In a sterile Miami courtroom, Adam faced his ex-wife across a polished table. Ava, stripped of her usual confidence, signed the papers under pressure from her lawyer, who'd seen the FBI's evidence, recordings, emails, and Javier Torres' testimony detailing her plan for a convenient accident. The judge awarded Adam the condo, half the hidden rental income, and full control of their joint savings. Ava walked away with only her personal belongings and a looming federal trial. "You'll pay for this, Adam," she'd whispered as she left. He hadn't responded, letting the courtroom doors close behind her. Back in the present, Isabella handed Adam Jr. to her father. "He's got your eyes, Dad," she said, her voice soft but steady. Adam smiled, the weight of the past year lifting as he held his grandson. "He's perfect, Bella." Sophia joined them, her lawyer's instincts still sharp. "Any word from the trial?" she asked. Adam nodded. Ava got 5 years for insurance fraud and conspiracy. The judge didn't buy her sob story. Isabella's jaw tightened. "She called me again, asking to see Junior at his baptism. I said no. She doesn't get to play family now." The trial had been swift but brutal. Javier, desperate to avoid prison, had turned over voice messages where Ava discussed staging a fall down their home stairs. The FBI uncovered a second policy she tried to take out, this one for $2 million, using forged medical records from a shady clinic. Ava's brother, Ricardo Morales, didn't fare much better. His precinct's internal affairs probe, fueled by Adam's recording of Captain Alvarez, exposed Ricardo's ties to illegal betting rings. He was forced into early retirement, his badge revoked, and relocated to a small town in Georgia, far from Miami spotlight. Adam handed the baby back to Isabella, his gaze drifting to the horizon. "I thought I'd feel more anger," he admitted. "But mostly I'm just free." Sophia squeezed his hand. "You took back what she stole, your life, your choices." They moved into the condo 6 months ago, after Adam proposed on the same deck, under a full moon. The engagement wasn't rushed. They'd spent months rebuilding trust, sharing dinners, and rediscovering the connection Ava had sabotaged 20 years ago. Isabella sat on a deck chair, rocking Adam Jr. "What about the wedding plans?" she asked. Adam glanced at Sophia, who answered, "Small ceremony, right here on the beach. Just us, a few friends, and Bella's family." Isabella grinned. "Perfect. Junior needs to see his grandparents happy." The word grandparents hit Adam hard, a reminder of the future he'd almost lost. He'd spent decades keeping Miami's power grid stable. Now, he was building a new kind of stability, one rooted in truth. A text from Luis Gonzalez buzzed Adam's phone. Torres lost his real estate license. Working a used car lot in Orlando now. Adam showed it to Sophia, who chuckled. Fitting. He sold out Ava to save himself. Javier's cooperation had sealed Ava's fate, but it cost him his career and marriage. His wife had divorced him, taking their assets. Adam felt no pity. Javier had made his choices, just as Ava had. As the sun dipped below the water, Adam reflected on the journey. Ava's betrayal had unraveled not just their marriage, but a web of deception spanning decades. Yet, it had also given him back Sophia, Isabella's loyalty, and now grandson. The condo, once a symbol of Ava's greed, was now a home for new memories. "Any regrets?" Sophia asked, echoing their conversation from months ago. Adam shook his head. "Not one. We're exactly where we're meant to be." Isabella stood, cradling Adam Jr. "I told Mom she's not welcome at the baptism. She needs to face what she did." Adam nodded, proud of his daughter's strength. "She will. The consequences are hers to carry." The night settled over Key West, the waves a steady rhythm. Adam pulled Sophia close, feeling the warmth of her presence and the weight of a second chance. Justice had been served, not through vengeance, but through truth, leaving him free to build a future with the family he'd chosen.